Hello, gang. Welcome to Dysfunctional Beardos again. And today's topic is what makes a cigar. So we're going to kind of go through how humans turn a leaf into a hobby, a culture, and a science experiment, and an excuse to sit around in leather chairs and drink bourbon. So it's all good. So I have the Colonel here. Finally, I got the Sheriff, and I'm the Chief. So welcome to Dysfunctional Beardos. And so when we talk about what makes a cigar from seed to smoke, we'll go right through it. And so we'll talk about what makes a cigar taste good, what makes them taste different from another, and why don't we start with the components? And Colonel, if you want to start with the wrapper and kind of talk about what that means, we'll go from there.
Well, I think something that we should mention right off is what you just said is that cigar smoking, unlike cigarette smoking, because I think sometimes the uninitiated, people who don't partake, sometimes confuse the two. And cigar smoking, unlike a cigarette, is a hobby, not a habit. And I heard you say the word hobby, and that's exactly what it is. You know, I've seen it do things for people and things you wouldn't expect. But what it does is it causes you to relax, to slow down. You have to focus on smoking a cigar. Unlike a cigarette will burn if you set it in an ashtray. It's how house fires start, right? But a cigar will go out if you don't tend it. All right, and so I think that's the first, what would you call it, like clarification, for lack of a better term, that we should start off with, is that it is a hobby, not a habit. Now that I beat that to death, you said the wrapper. So a cigar is made up of three components, and the wrapper is what's referred to as the dress. Okay, so it dresses up the cigar, gives it that traditional look, a finished look, unlike an unfinished. If they left the wrapper off, you'd see the binder, and underneath the binder is the filler. And those are on quality cigars. Not all cigars are made that way, but good quality cigars are. One thing to know about the wrapper, and Chief, you and I spoke about this, is that, you know, a wonky burn will affect the taste that you get from a cigar. You know, there's a name for the creators of a cigar. It'll come to me in a minute, I hope, but there's a name for that career field where they design the cigar and what they want it to taste like. And the wrapper is 60% or more of the flavor that you'll get out of a cigar. Now, I don't have a great palate for it, and I'm not going to talk like I do, but I do know that there are people that have a good palate, and they can taste all kinds of flavors. But if you get a wonky burn on a cigar, it's going to affect what I almost had the word, but the designers of that cigar want it to taste like. It'll affect it negatively.
Yep, absolutely. And so, you know, you talked about the wrapper, the binder, and the filler. Different types of wrappers, like there's a Claro, which is light, has a light flavor. A Colorado, which is medium brown, which I'd never heard of. Have you?
No,
never heard of that one. And then the Maduro, which the one I always gravitate to. I'm guessing today I probably got a Claro, or I've got a Colorado. I'm smoking a Arthur Fuente today. It's a Chateau Fuente. I haven't lit it up yet. I'm going to fire it up here in a sec. A little hard to see, but there she is. So it always messes me up. So there she is. Nice case, which I'll use as a travel case from now on. So I'll light up, and then Sheriff, if you want to talk a little bit about the binder and right, the filler part.
So, in addition to my 4 of Eagle Rare 10-year, I have got a Arturo Fuente, an 858 anniversary.
Ooh,
this is
very
a dark
nice.
Maduro. But the binder, this is the layer immediately under the wrapper. Its primary purpose is to hold all the filler together. It also helps provide a consistent burn throughout the whole smoke, the whole length of the cigar. One of the drawbacks to the binder is while you're going to get some flavor, it's not going to be as noticeable or as good as the wrapper is.
Yeah, and I have, depending on humidity in the desert of Arizona, a lot of times I'll end up having a wrapper separation, which kind of sucks because once that wrapper separates, you lose some of that flavor and you're in the filler part. So as we talk about that, the binder actually holds everything together, and then the filler is the actual tobacco itself. And so, what did you say, Sheriff or Colonel? You said that the wrapper is about what, 60 to 80% of the flavor?
Well, it's at least 60% of the flavor, but you touched on a good point, I think, is something we should probably speak into as well. And that is, depending on your location, like here in Michigan, we got high humidity in the summertime. So we don't necessarily need to store our cigars in high humidity. I would say 68%, 67, 68% is just fine. And it'll burn just fine for you. Whereas in the desert where you're at, where it's real dry, you're going to want to store them in a lot more humidity, just so that when you do bring them out and you go out to the patio or wherever to smoke them, they're humidified enough to where they don't do that to you. They don't fall apart on you.
Yeah, absolutely. And so just making sure I stay on time here. So we're going to get a stopwatch going here. So as we talk about, there are different types of tobacco, and where does tobacco come from? And so the biggest places that we know, I'm going to start with Dominican Republic because that's usually what I smoke a lot of, and that brings a creamy, smooth cedar taste to it, and really good flavor. And then a lot of places will do a blend, so they'll mix them up quite a bit. So Sheriff, if you want to talk about Nicaragua, as they say.
I, through my local cigar lounge, I get a lot of Nicaraguan or cigars that are filled or used with a lot of Nicaraguan tobacco. The things that you'll notice about it is, from Nicaragua, the tobacco is usually a little bit more spicier, might have a stronger pepper flavor to it. They're a little bit more full-bodied, and I've heard people refer to them as being earthy. So they're real popular. I think personally that they're one of the most popular cigars, Nicaraguan with a Connecticut wrapper or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, the Honduras is famous for making a lot of tobacco too, and that brings a rich and earthy as well. Like the sheriff said here, the Nicaraguan brings that peppery, little bit more robusto flavor, earthiness and the spice to it. When I smoke cigars, is it good? Does it taste good? I'm not into, I don't taste plums and blueberries. I do that with bourbon, but is it pleasant to the palate? Does it kick? Does it, I taste it 3 days later, right? Some of these cigars can be pretty rough, but those are the types of locations where tobacco comes from. And then the wrapper part comes from different areas too. So, the Connecticut wrapper, for example, is famous for mild wrappers, creamy flavor, smoother smoking experience. And then, some people can actually identify the country of origin by the taste, so.
So the blenders come up with these recipes, and it can be as, what would you call it, like diverse as a cake recipe, or even more so, because like you're saying, they got all kinds of regions, countries, seeds that they can draw from, and there's a process depending on what the blenders are trying to make for the experience from the end user, the smoker. Will depend on their process, where they get the leaves from, the different types of leaves, whether it's the wrapper, the binder, or the filler, will determine, what that cigar is going to ultimately taste like. And there are people, like I said, I don't have the palate for it, Sheriff. I think you said you don't have the palate for it either. I taste smoke. I don't taste unicorn tear. I don't taste all these flavors that people come up with. I taste smoke, but I can tell if it's a cigar, like you said, Chief, that I enjoy. And so I just don't have the palate that it takes to recognize a lot of the flavors that they claim that a particular stick is supposed to have. I got turned on to cigars quite accidentally. A customer of mine came in with a bag of cigars from an uncle, is what he said to me. An uncle of his passed away who was an aficionado. He loved his cigars. He had a bag of cigars that he wanted to sell me for whatever reason. I didn't know the first thing about it. He actually sold me some really good cigars. I had no clue what they were about, but what the value was or anything like that. So I gave him what he was asking for it, and I've never looked back. I started enjoying them. I do enjoy them, or when I was able to enjoy them, because of health reasons. Right now, I can't smoke, but I look forward to the someday when I can again. The fermentation, the process. I've heard it said that if you understood or you could see what it takes to roll the final product of a cigar, you'd never complain about the price again, because there is so much that goes into it, so much time that goes into the fermentation, all the things that go into making a good cigar, the property, the seeds, the land, all of that, the weather, everything that goes into it. It's extensive.
Yeah, absolutely. And someday, like I said, in our previous episodes, how, the Colonel here is, we finally got you back. And so we're so happy to have you back. So there's some myths around cigars, like are darker cigars, like the wrapper, if it's really dark, does that mean it's stronger? Not really. Wow, you've gotten that thing down to the nub almost.
It's serious.
You're not messing around there, bud. I didn't like mine until later on, but, darker cigars, the darker doesn't always mean it's stronger, because again, that's the wrapper, and again, that's 60%. But the inside, the filler, could be a very lighter type Nicaraguan or Honduras blend that could be a little bit more mild, right? So each to each his own. This is actually really good. This one here, the Fuente, it's got a nice. It's mild, but it's really good. It's what would you say that? That's not a Toro. That's a.
I think it's a Maduro.
Maduro. It's probably Maduro size, but it's actually pretty good. The Fuentes you can't go wrong. You can't go bad with. You can't go wrong with them. So,
So,
I'm enjoying this. Like I said, I've got a much darker. Sometimes we're talking about strength. Sometimes I do think that the darker ones are more potent. They're a little bit stronger than the lighter ones. The one thing I think about that is what it depends on. It's not the outer wrapper that it's not the outer wrapper that dictates the strength, but what the fillers are. And that's just me personally. I don't know that for a fact, but I do want to jump in and say that I don't think we mentioned this. We're actually at the Churchill Bar, downtown. You did say?
No, we didn't say. Yeah,
we're at the Churchill Bar downtown Denver, and I got to say, coming here, I have discovered my new favorite wrapper, and that my new favorite wrapper is the crunchy coating on their damn onion ring. Okay. So if you're ever in Denver, stop by, order the onion rings.
So it's not PDD or M&M then?
No, these are, and I don't know where they're coming from. I don't think they're Nicaraguan, but these are some damn good onion rings.
Those are pure Colorado wrapper. Actually, that's actually a wrapper, so it must be Idaho or somewhere.
Yeah.
Who knows? So anyway.
Let me chime in here real quick, and you can edit this how you want to. But when you refer to the size of a cigar, that's called a Toro or Busto or something. Maduro or Connecticut, that's referring to the color of the cigar or the processing of a cigar. All right. So Maduros, they look dark. So people think of dark coffee. I think that's what I used to think. I think of dark coffee, so it must be stronger. Or dark beer. People think it must be stronger. But actually, Maduro will be sweeter before it'll be anything else. And that's just the aging process and how they do that. And also, where the wrapper came from. Whether it's Nicaragua, Connecticut, or, how it was grown and stuff like that. But so, yeah, the Toro is the size of the cigar. So I think you have a Toro, Chief.
I'll leave it on there. This is actually good stuff. So,
Okay.
So we talk about mild, medium, and full. So as it says, the Arte Fuentes, we're on the mild side of the world, right? And then if you want to go medium, which is kind of where I like to be, any Padron, but the Padron 2000, my favorite's the Padron 1964 Anniversary Edition. Doesn't matter what size, Maduro or Toro, it doesn't matter to me. They're all good. You can't go wrong with a Padron. Everybody kind of looks at Padron as kind of like the most popular thing. Everybody gravitates to, like Blanton's, right? But Padron is really good, where Blanton's is a good bourbon. I would say it's probably not a great bourbon, but it's a good bourbon. It's fair, middle of the road. The sheriff and I are drinking smoking. We're drinking Eagle Rare. I haven't had a drink yet. I can't even speak.
There you go.
But yeah,
you're driving too.
You're driving too. But yeah, so and then the Colonel here just has to walk about 20 steps back to his. You have to climb up the stairs though to the patio. I know, but you know. And it, for full flavor is your favorite, which is the Mi Querida.
Yeah, the Mi Querida Black. It's a blend from Steve Saka, more commonly referred to as the Saka Khan. I like it. Size-wise, my personal go-to favorite when I can find them is a Churchill. I really like that big, I'm not wanting to smoke a cigarette or a cigarillo or, Lord help me, a backwoods smoke. I want a cigar. So I have a tendency to go with a Churchill, or in the case of the Mi Querida or the Saka Khan, it's a double Corona. So it's big, it's dark, it's full of flavor, it's a little on the strong side, but it is, depending on whether you're doing more smoking than talking or more talking than smoking, it can be a good 2-hour smoke. So when I get the opportunity, and fortunately my little homegrown shop carries them. Not all the time. I wouldn't call them a rare cigar, but they're very uncommon central Colorado. So,
and I scored one. What I want a Saka Khan or Saka, a Steve Saka blend. It's like the Black Horse or something. I can't remember exactly what it was. I'll post a video in here. But I videoed the kind of a turnaround. I haven't opened the box yet. It comes in a nice little case, sealed in cellophane, sitting in my humidor. And as Jake from Tooth and Bear says, take it out, let it sit for a week before you smoke it. I'm waiting for my son to get back to the Middle East, and we're gonna crack a few of my last bourbon hunt, which I'll post a picture in here, and we're gonna smoke. I can't split a cigar, but I'm gonna smoke the Saka, and I'm gonna give him a nice Padron or something, one of my favorites. So in closing, there's a few more things. This cigar is amazing. It's really good. It's a little bit more milder than my personal preferences, but it's actually really good. And again, this is the Chateau Fuente. Comes in a nice case. It's really good. Paired with an Eagle Rare 10. They don't have the 12 here, but it probably would cost a little bit more than I want to pay for in a bar, but pretty good stuff. Yeah.
Something you got to remember, we're in the hotel district, downtown Denver, Colorado, so it doesn't matter what you get. You're going to pay a little bit more for it. But
and this is the famous Brown Palace.
Part of the famous Brown Palace. And this is, I couldn't tell you the history on it. This is a 120-year-old hotel, and one of the few bars in Colorado where you can actually still smoke. So I don't think they let you smoke cigarettes in here, but
I hope not.
So I think I'm going to mention this guy.
Yeah, do.
So one of the issues we ran into, this the Churchill bar here is such a popular smoking spot for people in Denver that actually ran out of cigars on us. So when we first got here, just before they opened, it's like, we'd like to help you, but we don't have a single cigar to sell. So bartender pointed us to this place, Jerry's Tobacco and Fine Wines. I don't know if you can see that. And I tell you, this shop, Jerry's Tobacco Shop, awesome place, great little shop, had a hell of a variety of cigars. That's where we got Fuentes. And even though we're downtown in the hotel district, pricing was very reasonable. So again, if you're in downtown Denver looking for a place to smoke, they have a little outside lounge. We might try that place one time. Great price, great shop. The guy was very knowledgeable. And And I think if you're here, give them some business, man. Stop by and say hi.
And another plug for Jerry's. If you're looking for bourbon, they've got some really good selection. However, you are downtown, and they are paying for their real estate right next to the Sheraton in this district, which is a pretty expensive little area. You'll pay for it. But like I said, I scored the rainbow of Wellers from the green all the way to the white, or white all the way to the dark, which is the 12-year. It was $900, and a bottle of the single barrel was about $300 there, I think. And so over here, it's the 107, which is one of our all three of our personal favorites. It's $50 a shot here, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
plus or minus.
But you're paying for, I mean,
ambiance.
You're paying for the ambiance. They're got to pay for their real estate, their license. So yeah, it's par for the course. It's normal in a cigar lounge, in an upper scale cigar lounge. But yeah, they were out of cigars, which we were kind of surprised.
Yeah,
they have a beautiful little humidor area. I think if you're a member here, you get a little shelf or a little area to store it in. But so we didn't cover everything about how a cigar is made. There's so much to it. I mean, there's the from cutting it, making sure the leaves are right, to hanging it, letting it cure, to putting them in these big piles, let them ferment, and then pulling them off. And then there's people who hand roll. There are actually shops, just like where they make tennis shoes in China, shops where people are just making them. They're cutting them up, they're rolling them, those kind of things. And to actually a factory that actually automatically, makes the cigars.
Well, this concludes our episode of episode 3, Dysfunctional Beardos. Here's one of our issues. We ran into a lot of audio issues this time, so sorry for the abrupt ending of our podcast, but please like and subscribe, and I hope you have a great day and a great week, and smoke on, drink on, and be happy.